Hello, my name is Brian, and this is my IA application. I have some of my students here to just help facilitate through this. I would ask you how your day was, but we're in a time crunch, so we're going to jump straight into it. So C-strings, what are they? In the original C language, strings are basically represented as an array of characters type char. So here for hello, we can basically represent it as HELLNO. However, it has initialized with 6 elements. Why do you think that? And of course, you already went over in lecture, it has the sentinel value in the back. And basically, it's a special character. It's not like a null pointer or a 0, but it's a special character that just tells the string when to end. If it's not there, then it would just not know and just take in a bunch of junk values at the end, which will create undefined behavior. And also, since we're lazy, the compiler can also add the sentinel character for us if we define it as just a string literal. So this would also work. Also, since C strings are basically still arrays, when we assign it to a pointer and use string as a value, it will still decay to the first element of the array. So here we see that when we are assigning string to a pointer, it's going to decay to point to the first character, which is just H. And another note, when we iterate through character arrays, we usually do it with pointers. So this is just the syntax here. We have a const char pointer to the string. I want it to be const because we don't want to change the actual string value. And here, we're basically checking if it's at the sentinel character because it has an inherent truth value of false. So once we get to this character, it's just going to stop. And this is just the plus plus iterator. And this is just the basics. Do you guys have any questions? If not, then we're just going to jump into this question and it'll probably help. So we have a function void split string, and it takes in a character array destination, character array source, and the position. So what it does, it's kind of funny. We have hello, and it looks at the second element, and we're basically going to kind of concatenate the second half with the first half. So second element, it starts at LLO, and it concatenates the first half. So Elohi, and then here we have element 3, so it starts at the third element, which is ecar rack, and then starts at the 0 element, which is penny is the penny. So go ahead and try that. We're going to come back and go over it together.
5 minutes later.
Okay. Now that you had some time to work through the problem, do you guys have any possible implementations of this? Okay, yeah, no, that's great. So for problems like this, and generally just any problem, you want to try to split it into smaller parts that we can work with. So for example, for this question, if we have hello, we can split it into 2 parts where it's telling us the position is, and we can basically just split it at that index. So now we have 2 parts of the string. We have the back part and the front part. And this function is basically asking us to just concatenate the first part first, and then the back part. So to do this, we can have a tracker that starts in the middle there at that index, and we can traverse through it to the end, copying all the characters down, and then move back to the front to where we started. So it's going to start like from the middle here to the end, and then from the front to the middle. Okay, so how we can do this with code is, so to start we have some variables, which is size, and that's just the string length of the source, so that just counts how many elements are in source, the characters. And then we have destination index, that's going to be our tracker variable to see how many characters we move through. And here we just have the syntax for iteration with pointers. So we have our const char pointer it to source plus plus. Do you guys know what that is? Okay, yeah, exactly. That's where we basically cut the string. That's where the element is. And then here we have source plus size. Okay, yeah, that's to the end of the string, right? Because source, remember it's an array, so it decays to the first character. And plus the size and the pointer arithmetic that we went through, it tracks where the ending is. And then we just have our it++ to iterate through. And the next line, here we actually assign the elements. So here we have a dereference of destination plus destination index. So right now it's pointing at just the first index, H. And then we have this postfix operator. Do you guys know what that does? Why is that there? Okay, so what it does is, since it's postfix, it's going to complete our operation in this line first and then add the index. So here it's setting our destination plus 0 to it. So now it's setting the first character to basically this L. And now that that operation is done, we can plus it. So now destination index is 1. So now we're just going to loop through it. We're going to copy L, L, O. And once it reaches source plus size, which is the O, it's going to end right there. And now moving on to the next for loop, we have the same thing, but this time it starts at source. So that just decays to the first character, H. And then here we have source plus position, which is again where we cut it, and just plus again. So again, same thing, dereference, the destination plus destination index, and that's just pointer arithmetic. So here we have similar, once we started, we have where we left off, and then we're going to assign it to the start of, which is H. So I wish I could write, but my marker is out of ink. It's going to be LLO, and now we can start at H here. And HE, it's going to stop at the element where we were. Okay, so now, are we done yet? There's this extra line here. Do you guys know what it is? So yeah, here we're missing the sentinel character, right? Because without it, the string doesn't know where to end. It's gonna take in all the junk values in the back. So here we just have to set the last character to the sentinel value. Pretend it's there. And that's basically just how we do this function. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to come and ask. There's also several other implementations of this. You could use a while loop, but this is just the basic way of doing it, and you can clearly see how it works. So hopefully this was helpful, and yeah.